Billionaire CEO needed fake girlfriend. Woman who accepted was the one he fired. Last week. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Romance Rewind Stories. Before we dive into today's incredible story, I have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying these heartwarming tales, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads. It's quick, it's free, and it's the best way to support us in bringing you more emotional romance stories. And here's something I'd love to know. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I always enjoy seeing our amazing community from around the world. Oh, and if this story touches your heart, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps us grow and reach more people who love these kinds of tales. Now, let's get into today's story. Billionaire CEO needed fake girlfriend. Woman who accepted was the one he fired last week. The LinkedIn message was desperate enough to be insulting. Miss Winter, I know our last interaction was unfortunate, but I find myself in need of assistance and you're uniquely qualified. Would you consider a business arrangement? Compensation would be substantial. Please call me Creed Ashford. Wintervale stared at the message on her phone screen, her coffee going cold in her hand. Creed Ashford, the billionaire CEO who'd fired her exactly 7 days ago in the most humiliating way possible, called her into his office, told her that her creative approach to marketing was too unconventional for a company of Sterling Technologies' reputation, and had security escort her out with her belongings in a cardboard box while her colleagues watched. She'd cried in her car for an hour. Then she'd gone home to her tiny studio apartment, updated her resume, and started the soul-crushing process of job hunting while her savings account dwindled towards zero. And now, Creed Ashford, 39 years old, worth approximately $11 billion and apparently lacking any sense of irony, was asking for her help. Winter should delete the message, block his number, move on with her dignity intact. Instead, she called him Creed Ashford. His voice was exactly as she remembered, deep, authoritative, the kind of voice that made people automatically obey. This is Wintervale, the woman you fired last week after 3 years of dedicated service. What could you possibly need from me that would make you think I'd help you? There was a pause. You called. So, you're at least curious. I'm unemployed and broke. That makes me desperate, not curious. What do you want, Mr. Ashford? To hire you, temporarily, for a role that requires someone who can think unconventionally and isn't afraid to challenge me. You proved you could do both when you pitched that guerrilla marketing campaign I rejected. The campaign you called too risky before firing me for suggesting it. I made a mistake. The campaign was brilliant. I reacted poorly. But Winter, I need your help now. Can we meet? I'll explain everything. And if you're not interested after hearing the details, you walk away with $10,000 just for listening. $10,000. That was 3 months of rent, food, time to find a real job instead of taking the first desperate offer. Fine, 1 meeting. But Mr. Ashford, if this is some elaborate power play or humiliation tactic, I'll make sure every media outlet knows exactly what kind of person you are. Noted. My office, tomorrow at 2 p.m. And Winter, thank you. The next day, Winter dressed carefully, professional but not trying too hard, confident but not desperate. She arrived at Sterling Technologies 15 minutes early and was immediately shown to Creed's office by his new assistant, a nervous young man who clearly hadn't lasted long enough to develop the protective shell the job required. Creed's office was exactly as Winter remembered, floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist furniture, and the faint smell of expensive coffee. Creed himself stood by the windows, his back to her, hands in his pockets. Even from behind, he radiated the kind of power that made people uncomfortable. Miss Vale, thank you for coming. He turned, and Winter was struck again by how unfairly attractive he was. Dark hair touched with silver at the temples, sharp features, and grey eyes that seemed to see through every defense. He'd been intimidating when he was her boss. Now, without that professional buffer, he was devastating. Let's skip the pleasantries, Mr. Ashford. Why am I here? Because I need a girlfriend. Fake girlfriend, to be specific, for 6 weeks. And you're the only person I trust to pull it off. Winter laughed. Actually laughed. The sound bitter. You fired me a week ago, and now you trust me to be your fake girlfriend. Do you hear how insane that sounds? I fired you because the board was pressuring me to eliminate anyone who didn't fit their conservative vision for the company. Your marketing ideas were too bold, too different. They wanted you gone. I should have fought harder for you. I didn't. That was my mistake, and I'll regret it. But Winter, that's exactly why you're perfect for this. Explain. Creed gestured for her to sit, then took the chair across from her rather than hiding behind his desk, a deliberate choice that didn't escape Winter's notice. My grandmother is dying. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4. She has maybe 2 months left. Her dying wish, the only thing she's asked for in 87 years of being the most selfless person I've ever known, is to see me settled and happy before she dies. She wants to know I won't be alone. That's manipulative. That's love. Misguided, maybe, but love. Winter, my grandmother raised me after my parents died. She sacrificed everything to give me opportunities. She's never asked me for anything. Now she's asking for this, to believe I've found someone who makes me happy. I can't tell her the truth, that I'm too damaged and too busy to maintain real relationships, but I can give her peace in her final weeks. That's what I'm asking you to help me do. Winter studied his face, looking for deception, for the cold CEO who'd fired her without hesitation. What she saw instead was grief, barely controlled, and genuine desperation. Why me? You could hire a professional actress, someone who doesn't hate you. Because my grandmother is terrifyingly perceptive. She'd see through an actress immediately. She'd see through anyone I hired who was just performing. But Winter, you've never been able to hide what you're thinking or feeling. It's one of the things that made you brilliant at marketing and terrible at corporate politics. If you agree to this, your emotions will be real. Your reactions will be genuine. That's what my grandmother needs to see. Authenticity. You want me to fake being your girlfriend using real emotions. That's twisted. That's honest. Winter, I'm not asking you to fall in love with me. I'm asking you to spend 6 weeks being yourself around my dying grandmother so she can believe I've found happiness. You'll be compensated generously, $100,000 for 6 weeks. That's enough to cover your expenses while you find your next position. Maybe even take some time to consider starting your own agency, like you mentioned once. $100,000. Winter's mind raced. That was life-changing money. That was freedom to be selective about her next job instead of taking the first offer out of desperation. That was everything she needed. But it was also Creed Ashford, the man who'd humiliated her, who'd chosen corporate politics over defending her work. I have conditions, Winter said slowly. Name them. 1, you write me a reference letter, a glowing one that acknowledges my marketing skills and your mistake in letting me go. 2, if at any point this becomes demeaning or crosses boundaries I'm not comfortable with, I walk away with $50,000, half payment. 3, after this is over, we never contact each other again. Clean break. Deal? Creed extended his hand. Deal. When can you start? Tomorrow. And mister, if you hurt your grandmother with this lie, I'll make sure you regret it. If I hurt her with this, I'll deserve whatever you do to me. The next 6 weeks were the strangest of Winter's life. Creed's grandmother, Eleanor Ashford, lived in a beautiful Victorian house in the suburbs, filled with books and plants, and the kind of warmth that came from decades of love lived within its walls. She was also exactly as perceptive as Creed had warned. So you're the girl who finally captured my grandson's heart, Eleanor said the first time they met, her eyes sharp despite the illness ravaging her body. He's never brought anyone home before. You must be special. Winter started, but Creed's hand found hers, squeezing gently. The touch sent electricity up her arm. She is special, grandmother. Winter challenges me, makes me think differently. She's unlike anyone I've ever met. Good. Creed needs someone who won't let him hide behind that CEO armor. Eleanor turned to Winter. Tell me, dear, what do you do? Winter hesitated, and Creed jumped in. Winter's a marketing consultant. She recently went independent, starting her own agency. It wasn't entirely a lie. Winter was technically available for consulting, even if it wasn't by choice. But the ease with which Creed spun the truth impressed her despite herself. They fell into a routine over the following weeks. Dinners at Eleanor's house 3 times a week, where Winter and Creed played the role of devoted couple. Weekend visits where they'd help Eleanor in her garden or read to her when she was too weak to hold books herself. And slowly, imperceptibly, something shifted. Creed wasn't the cold CEO who'd fired her. With his grandmother, he was gentle, patient, and obviously devoted. He'd spend hours reading Eleanor's favorite novels aloud, his voice softening on the romantic passages in ways that made Winter's heart race. You're good with her, Winter observed one evening as they drove back from Eleanor's house. I expected you to be different. Different how? More like the CEO who fired me. But with your grandmother, you're human. Creed's jaw tightened. That CEO is a role I play, Winter. It's not who I am. It's who I have to be to run a company and deal with board members who value profit over people. But it's exhausting. Being here, with my grandmother, with you, it's the first time in years I've felt like myself. Who are you then, when you're not playing CEO? Someone who cares too much, who makes mistakes because he's trying to protect people and ends up hurting them anyway. Someone who fired the best marketing director he ever had because he was too cowardly to fight the board, then regretted it every day since. He glanced at her. I'm sorry, Winter, for firing you, for not fighting harder. You deserved better. Yes, I did. But Winter's voice was softer than intended. Why didn't you fight for me? Because I was a coward. Because fighting the board meant risking my position, and I'd spent 15 years building that position. I chose wrong. I chose security over doing what was right. And Winter, I've regretted it every single day, not just because you were brilliant at your job, but because I missed you. Winter's breath caught. What? I missed you. Your energy in meetings. The way you challenge my ideas without fear. The way you saw marketing as storytelling instead of just selling products. I missed walking past your office and seeing you completely absorbed in work. Doing that thing where you chew your pen when you're thinking. I missed you. Creed. I know this isn't part of our deal. I know I'm not supposed to develop actual feelings during our fake relationship, but Winter, spending these weeks with you, remembering why I was attracted to your mind and your passion, I can't keep pretending this is just business anymore. I'm falling for you. Actually falling, not fake girlfriend falling, and I needed you to know that. Winter's heart hammered. We have a contract. You're paying me to pretend. I'm paying you to spend time with my grandmother. The falling for you part is completely unprofessional and probably makes me the worst person alive given our history. But it's true. And after this 6 weeks is over, after my grandmother, his voice cracked. After she's gone, if you never want to see me again, I'll understand. But I needed you to know you deserve honesty. They sat in charged silence, the city lights blurring past the car windows. Finally, Winter said, I don't hate you anymore. That's something. I should hate you. You fired me, humiliated me, then hired me for this bizarre arrangement. But Creed, these past few weeks, I've seen who you really are. Not the CEO, but the grandson who reads romance novels to his dying grandmother. The man who remembers how I take my coffee, who notices when I'm tired and suggests we cut visits short so I can rest, who talks to Eleanor about me. I'm the most fascinating person he's ever met, and somehow makes me believe it. You are fascinating. Stop. Let me finish. Winter took a breath. I don't know what I'm feeling. It's complicated and messy and probably a terrible idea, but I don't hate you. And I look forward to seeing you, even though I shouldn't. And when you hold my hand for your grandmother's benefit, I forget it's fake. That's dangerous. Or it's honest. Creed pulled the car over, turning to face her fully. Winter, I'm not asking you to decide anything tonight. I'm just asking you to know that what I feel is real. And when this contract ends, if you want to explore what this could be without the fake girlfriend arrangement, I'm completely here. Eleanor died 3 weeks later, peacefully in her sleep with Creed and Winter holding her hands. Her last words were, "Take care of each other. You two are good together. Don't let go." The funeral was small, but beautiful. Winter attended even though their contract had technically ended, because she couldn't imagine not being there for Creed in his grief. Afterward, in the quiet of Eleanor's house as they sorted through her belongings, Creed said, "Our deal is complete. I'll transfer the full payment today, and Winter, thank you. My grandmother died believing I was happy and loved. That's a gift I can never repay. You don't have to repay it. I cared about Eleanor. She was special. She thought you were special too. Left you something, actually." Creed handed Winter a small box. Inside was a delicate necklace with a silver pendant shaped like a compass. "She told me to give you this. Said you'd need it to find your way." Winter's eyes filled with tears. "I don't understand. I think she knew that this wasn't entirely fake, that we were both finding something real in the middle of this arrangement." Creed moved closer. "Winter, I meant what I said. Fell for you, past tense. And I know I have no right to ask for anything after how I treated you, but is there any chance you'd consider giving us a real try? No contracts, no payment, just two people seeing if what we found in these weird circumstances could become something lasting?" Winter looked at the compass pendant, then at Creed. This complicated man who'd hurt her and healed her in equal measure, who'd shown her vulnerability and strength, who'd let her see past the CEO armor to the human underneath. "I have conditions," she said, echoing their first conversation. "Of course you do. 1, you write me that reference letter you promised. I want to start my own agency and I want your genuine endorsement. 2, we take this slow, dating, real dating, where we get to know each other without the pressure of performance or dying grandmothers. 3, if you ever choose corporate politics over doing what's right again, I'm gone. No second chances. I need to know you've learned from your mistakes. Done and absolutely done. Anything else? Yes, kiss me right now. Not for show, not for anyone else, just because you want to." Creed cupped her face gently, his thumb brushing her cheek. "I've wanted to do this since week 2 when you laughed at Eleanor's terrible joke and your whole face lit up. I've wanted to kiss you so badly. It's been torture pretending I didn't." "Then stop pretending." The kiss was soft at first, questioning, but quickly deepened into something desperate and real. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Winter whispered, "Oh, we can try this. But Creed, don't make me regret it." "I won't. I swear I won't." They dated for 8 months, real dating, messy and imperfect, and completely genuine. Creed helped Winter launch her marketing agency, using his connections, but letting her talent speak for itself. Winter helped Creed learn to stand up to his board, to choose principle over politics, to be the CEO who aligned with the man he wanted to be. "You've changed the company," Winter observed one evening. They were at Creed's penthouse, cooking dinner together, something that had become their routine. "People are talking about the culture shift at Sterling Technologies, how you're prioritizing creativity and innovation over safe choices. I'm implementing all the ideas you pitched, the ones I was too scared to support before. Turns out you were right about everything. Obviously, I'm brilliant." "You are." Creed pulled her close, kissing her forehead. "Winter, I want to ask you something, and I need you to know there's no pressure, but if you're about to propose after 8 months, I'm going to say you need therapy for your grandmother issues." Despite himself, Creed laughed. "Not proposing, not yet anyway, but I want you to move in with me. Really move in, not just keeping a drawer here. I want to wake up with you every morning and fall asleep beside you every night. I want to build a life together. What do you say?" Winter pretended to consider, then smiled. "I say yes, but I'm bringing my terrible furniture and my plant collection, and you're not allowed to complain. Deal, though my interior designer might cry. Your interior designer can deal with it." They moved in together, and life became beautifully ordinary. Work and dinners and weekend mornings, where they'd sleep late and make elaborate breakfasts. Arguments about whose turn it was to do dishes and makeup kisses that led to being late for meetings. 1 year after Eleanor's death, Creed took Winter back to the Victorian house, now maintained as a memorial, exactly as Eleanor had left it. "I come here sometimes," Creed said as they walked through the rooms filled with memories, "to think about her, about what she taught me, about how she knew somehow that bringing you into my life would change everything. She was wise. Creed stopped in the garden, Eleanor's favorite place. "Winter, my grandmother's dying wish was to see me happy. She wanted to know I wouldn't be alone, and because of her, because she forced me to confront my loneliness and hire you for that ridiculous arrangement, I found you, found us, found happiness I didn't know was possible." "Are you going somewhere with this speech, or are you just feeling nostalgic?" Creed pulled out a small box, not the compass this time, but something that made Winter's breath catch. "I'm saying that my grandmother got her wish. I'm happy. I'm not alone. I found someone who challenges me and supports me and makes me want to be better every single day. And Winter Vale, I want to spend the rest of my life with that someone. With you. Will you marry me?" Winter looked at the ring, simple, elegant, perfect, then at Creed's face, vulnerable in ways the CEO armor never allowed. "You fired me," she said. "I know, worst mistake of my life. Then hired me to fake date you for your dying grandmother. Second worst decision, though it worked out. Then fell in love with me during said fake relationship. Best accident that ever happened to me." "You're a mess, Creed Ashford." "I know, but I'm your mess, if you'll have me." "So, is that a yes?" Winter knelt beside him in Eleanor's garden, taking his face in her hands. "It's a yes, but I have conditions." "Of course you do. Let me finish. It's a yes on the condition that you never forget you're human, not just a CEO, that you keep fighting for what's right even when it's hard, that you remember the man your grandmother raised, the one who reads romance novels and helps dying women in gardens. That's who I'm saying yes to. Can you promise me that?" "I promise. Every day, for the rest of our lives." They married 6 months later in Eleanor's garden, surrounded by friends and family and the flowers Eleanor had loved. During the vows, Creed said, "Winter, you were the woman I fired, then hired, then fell for despite every intention to keep this professional. You challenged me from day one and never stopped. My grandmother knew what she was doing when she forced us together. Thank you for taking a chance on a fake relationship. Thank you for making it real." "Thank you," Winter replied, "for being desperate enough to ask the woman you fired to be your fake girlfriend. Thank you for your grandmother's manipulation. Thank you for proving that sometimes the worst business decisions lead to the best life decisions. And Creed, thank you for catching feelings when you were supposed to stay professional. Made my job a lot easier. Because sometimes the person who fires you becomes the person who saves you. Sometimes fake relationships built on contracts become real love, built on trust. And sometimes a dying grandmother's wish and a desperate CEO's proposal lead to exactly the happiness she hoped for, proving that even the messiest beginnings can have the most beautiful endings. And that's where our story ends today. What did you think? Did Creed and Winter's story of fake dating becoming real love touch your heart? Let us know in the comments what your favorite moment was. If you enjoyed this story, we have so many more waiting for you. Check out our playlist for more heartwarming romance tales that will make you believe in love all over again. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Your support means everything to us. Until next time, keep believing in love, keep believing in second chances, and remember, the best stories are the ones that remind us we all deserve our happily ever after. See you in the next story.